evening, and welcome back here on the Lorain County Sports Network. I'm John Guzik, the crew's here in blue. Michael Allison behind the camera, Edwin Vereen, Max Drummond, my partner. I went with the WOBL, WDLW black tonight because I'm somewhat in mourning as we have now reached the final week of the first season of Hoops on the Lorain County Sports Network. But we're excited about being back here in Avon as it's a Southwestern Conference matchup between the Eagles and the Amherst Comets. It's going to be a fun night of basketball here as we have the Eagles coming off a win last week that we had right here on the Lorain County Sports Network, and that was against Lorain, where they took away a 63-45 win, and they've just been waiting for these last two games of the season to get going as they come in tonight with now an 8-4 record in the conference, 13-7 overall. And the Amherst Comets have had one of those years where I don't think anyone wants to play them, but they have an odd record, 7-1 in non-conference play, but only 2-10 here in the conference. The good news for Comets fans is one of those two wins was against the top seed Illyria in the conference just a couple games ago. They come in on a 3-game winning streak, and so we expect a great matchup tonight as the Amherst and Avon teams are ready to get things wound up for not only the Southwestern Conference season, but ready to start tournament play next week. We'll be talking about all that as the night goes along, and much more to come. But first, we always take a few minutes with each of the head coaches, as it's brought to you by Great Lakes Basketball, where you can train with the best. Jay Valadez, a certified AAU coach, Fitch's Corner. When we talk to both coaches, I'll have a few minutes with Avon coach Mike Fitch, and my partner Max Drummond has a conversation with Pat Bray from the Amherst Comets. It's all part of your night tonight on the Stewart's TV and Appliance Game of the Week. Stewart's TV and Appliance, where you should shop smart, shop local, shop Stewart's on the Lorain County Sports Network.
Welcome into the Great Lakes Basketball Coach's Corner. I'm Max Drummond. Joining me now is Amherst head coach Pat Bray. Coach, thanks for joining me before tonight's game.
Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. I know this is our second time having you on the stream. We're going to have you again later this week, so we'll get real comfortable with you guys. And we're also catching you at a really good time. You're on a great winning streak right now. What's been the key to your guys' success during that run?
Well, we talked about we can't do too much. You know, we're not the biggest team on the floor, so we got to make sure we do things the right way. You know, sit down, get stops, and then we got to go down and try to score points. And when we aren't scoring points, we can't allow them to keep going down and getting, easy buckets. So, that's what we've been doing. We've been sitting down and trying to get stops for these last 3 games, and, we've been having some good success.
You guys have done it when the competition has stepped up a bit, and you have that tonight. I know you guys share the ball really well. We saw that in our last matchup covering you against Illyria Catholic, and someone different seemed to take over each night. Are you ever able to see that coming, or is it more just how the game plays out?
No, it's just how the game plays out. But like we said, we play as a team, and that's why each night could be someone different. It's just who gets hot. The matches for the night, could be like our last game, Yoder for senior night gets hot, and he ends up with 21, and stuff like that. It's just, about matchups and who gets hot that night.
And moving into tonight's matchups, obviously Avon, they've been comfortable playing at whatever pace any team's been able to give them. How does your tempo and your guys' pressure that you apply on defense, how does that adapt to facing the Eagles tonight?
Well, like you said, they adapt to whatever the other team's playing. So, we got to stick to playing our game. We've got to do things our way, and hopefully that gets us some, nice looks at the basket, and hopefully that gives, we got to limit their touches tonight.
And I remember the last time we spoke ahead of that Illyria Catholic game, and you guys were in a stretch of playing a back-to-back and a lot of games at once. That picks up even more now. And you said the key was one night at a time. Do you feel like you guys have kept with that? And how do you keep it going into the playoffs, into the postseason?
Yeah, most definitely. We're talking about one game at a time, especially now here getting towards the postseason. These are big games, trying to build momentum going into the tournament. So tonight we've got Avon, who SWC, tough team, and they're right there knocking on the door of the top. So this gives a good measuring stick for us to see where we're at right now.
I know we're excited to see it, and last thing I wanted to go over is who your starting lineup will be for tonight's game.
Well, it'd be Yoder, Bray, Draga, Young, and Solak.
All right, awesome. Well, we appreciate your insight, and best of luck this evening.
Thank you very much.
That was Coach Pat Bray of the Amherst Comets joining us in the Great Lakes Basketball Coach's Corner. When we come back, we'll hear from John Guzik and Avon's head coach. You're listening to the Lorain County Sports Network.
Great Lakes basketball brings you our Coach's Corner every night, including this, our final night on the Lorain County Sports Network for this season. What better place to wrap it up than where we just were a week ago? What's been happening the last week, Coach Fitch?
We've been off since then. We didn't play since that game, so a lot of practice, getting a lot of shots up, giving the kids legs on a little bit for the last stretch of the season.
Anything in particular in practice that you kind of like this, especially with this team? We just do this a little bit better in the next couple of weeks, so this will make a big difference.
Yeah, I think offensively, a couple things in our sets that we're looking at, a couple things we're missing, reading defense a little better, and obviously defense on the road, work on defense. We're doing well, but we got some tough matches coming up.
One of the things on our side, being broadcasters, where I've seen a different school pretty much every week, we don't realize that your whole group really just came together last week, right?
Yeah, last time you were here was the first time we started our original starting five that we've had here. So Nolan Good was out for the first part of the year. He came back partly so we didn't start him in the first game. He came back. So it was nice to kind of get that starting rotation going. Finally get a rotation that we expected since the beginning.
I'm giving him a big sigh because I'm sure you happened that day. He said, I got Nolan back, and then now you lose Farley on the same day. That's too bad, but it's the right time to get them all together. So the conference is decided. You know, the postseason lineup is set. So what do the kids play for tonight?
Yeah, after our loss we lost 2 in a row, Avon Lake area. That kind of hurt the will of the kids. And we were still in it, and then we went to Midview a couple Fridays ago and we laid an egg, and they played really well against us. So we've changed our goals. We want to win out. Obviously, we got a big one tonight, conference game, and then obviously a big one Friday. Anytime we go against late, it's a good game. The first time at their place, we didn't have a good crowd because it was after a snow day, and it was after the girls' game wasn't that good. So we're looking forward to that one. And then obviously, I think we have a chance to get to the district semis, and we got to win 2 games and pick the play, not take it by, and we're excited for that. And the kids are, it's hard at this time of the year because they're starting to look at their next sport and they kind of get tired, but they're giving the effort in practice, they're working hard, and that's what you want to see at the end of the year.
So I know you started a little slow last week, but then things took off. So what are you looking to get the message out to the kids tonight? How do you want to get going?
Yeah, we got to get the ball to basket first. I think we settled a little bit. Lorain had us on our heels. Amherst's going to do the same thing. They're going to press us a little bit, get some traps. So if we make the right passes and take the ball to the basket, we should be in good shape.
It's a big week because I know your kids, not only Friday night, but tonight, these guys all know each other. They play in the summertime, so that'll get them going a little bit too, right?
Yeah, anytime you're going against conference opponents, huge for us. But a couple of them play AU together. They've known each other for a really long time. They have that, on the floor hatred for each other, but respect off the floor. So we're excited. Last chance to see a couple of kids on their end that I've seen for a while too. So it should be a good one.
We're excited to be here, and it's the season finale of your favorite YouTube channel here on the Lorain County Sports Network with Amherst taking on Avon in just a few minutes. Stay tuned. Here we are back at Avon High School as we're getting ready. The team's on the floor, obviously, and we're getting ready for a great matchup tonight as we will have Amherst and Avon. And appreciate the coaches taking some time out of their day to get us ready for tonight's game. Not only tonight with a few words of conversation, but we always ask all the coaches before the game for updated stats from them and rosters. And the cooperation we get from all the coaches across Lorain County as well as the athletic directors is fabulous, and we're going to talk about this a lot tonight, but keep in mind, even though we'll tell you this is the last Tuesday night broadcast on the Lorain County Sports Network, it's far from the end of the season for the WOBL, WDLW Sports Department, and we're going to start tournament coverage tomorrow and continue on through the coming weeks, so we'll have all that updated information for you as our broadcast goes along tonight. But as we get ready for tonight's game, I mentioned we've got 2 teams that have kind of had different, interesting obstacles throughout the course of the season, and Coach Fitch for Avon mentioned that they've really only had 2 games this year where they've had their projected starters on the floor, and one of those games was the game Nathan Farley got hurt in, and we just happened to be here last week when Farley came back from injury, and that was only the second time that they've had all their guys together. And they're going to have them together tonight, and that's the best time of year you can have it. We knew Nolan Good was out at the beginning of the season after a football injury, but they're healthy going into the postseason. For Amherst, meanwhile, they just lost David Dudziak, and although he's only a sophomore on their team, he was averaging almost 10 points a game when he went down, and unfortunately is in a walking boot tonight and is not expected to be back on the floor regardless of how deep the Comets go into the postseason. Our injury and active report brought to you tonight by Illyria Jewelry and Repair, treating customers like family. So when you get to this point of the season, there's no chance to win the conference. Your tournament seeding is set, so you're not worried about your RPI. I'll bring in my partner Max Drummond to talk about what do you play for on a night like tonight? What's the motivation for these guys on the court?
So for Amherst, I know Coach Pat Bray talked about how there's a lot on the line for Avon, which means there's a lot to spoil if you're the Comets. There's a lot that you can do to disrupt a tough conference foe, and obviously they're going to see one of the best versions of Avon being at full strength tonight. But, you know, he talked about just staying consistent with what's had this winning streak going for them, and that's moving the ball, that's being unselfish with it, and keeping their pace. It's not an easy one. We saw weeks ago against Illyria Catholic, they play at a very fast, intense rate, and that goes defensively in their press, and then also offensively, they're looking for the quickest, easiest basket they can find. So for Amherst, you just have to somehow be able to withstand that and the size that Avon presents, and if you're Avon, obviously, this is their last week playing at home for these seniors, and you know you want to go out strong on that note. And like I said, the conference is still up for grabs. It's a very competitive three-team race at the top of the SWC right now.
Well, right now that both Berea and Illyria have 10 wins, and one of them's going to get an 11th win because they play each other. So Avon, even if they win out, can only get to 10 wins. So they are out of the race for the championship of the Southwestern Conference. But Amherst, despite losing their 10-point per game guy, Dudziak, they're actually on a great streak. They started the year strong, struggled once again in the conference, but a huge win against that Illyria team that's battling for the conference championship. So they are capable of beating anybody in this conference on any night. And then they went and had two nice non-conference wins, both against their backyard rivals, Firelands, as well as their northerly neighbors, Vermilion, resounding double-digit wins against both of them. So Amherst playing very well. Talk about the younger kids on the team, the sophomores, the juniors. They're still trying to impress the coaches, right? Hey, you can count on me for next year. And like Max said, when you're a senior, you know now this is the time of year when you're like, you know what, I only get so many more minutes on this hardwood. I want to make sure I make the most of it. So I think there is a lot of motivation to have a good time tonight. I know officiating a lot of the summer basketball and the AAU stuff, these guys are actually teammates, some of them, during the course of the off-season. But not only that, know each other extremely well from all the times they do take the court against each other, not just in these couple of Southwestern Conference games that they have during the regular season. So I think they're going to have a lot of fun. It's still a good rivalry. We promise to have not only a really good matchup tonight, but a good indicator of what's going to happen in the postseason. For Avon, they will be playing on this court again because they are the top seed of all the teams in Lorain County. They have the highest seed going for them in Lorain County, so they're going to start tournament play a week from tomorrow right here in this gym. They'll be playing Worcester. And then they know they're going to be playing Twinsburg in the second round. So Avon could actually still have 4 more home games, including tonight, if they can win against Worcester. Meanwhile, for the Amherst Comets, they will also be playing a week from tomorrow night. They are the number 52 seed in this huge super district, and they're going to be taking on Euclid. And since Euclid is number 65, that's going to be a home game for the Amherst Comets. And if they can survive that one, then they get to play St. Ed's. And St. Ed's, of course, a storied program, a lot of history there. But I will say this, kind of in perspective, St. Ed's is only the 11th seed this year in this super district. So certainly winnable games for both Amherst and Avon as they get into the sectionals. And we're going to have sectional final games this week on our radio stations with the girls' games as well. So lots to play for, lots going on. The keys of the game brought to you by Buckeye Community Bank, where today and tomorrow, your partner for growth, and we appreciate all the sponsors who have made this inaugural hoop season of Lorain County Sports Network possible, and we're going to make sure we recognize them. You'll see them on your screen throughout the night. You'll hear us thank them and mention them throughout the game, and of course we have a lot of our sponsors who have specific features that they tie themselves to, and one of those is our good friend and old friend of mine, Rich Resendez, we asked you to vote Rich Resendez for Lorain County Sheriff in 2024, and he brings you our national anthem as we see the flag being dropped from the ceiling here at Avon High School. All right, getting ready to go for this final week of the Lorain County Sports Network. I see our halftime interview guest from last week, Bill Fitch, on the other side of the stands and sitting right behind his 101-year-old father. He was a great guest last week. We got an even more special guest this week for our halftime show, so stick around for that as we'll get to all that as we get through the night. Right now, let's talk about who you're going to see on the court first. Our starting lineups tonight brought to you by Smitty's Place, where friends meet. Oh, my gosh, we were able to meet there last Thursday as our station, and the Smitty Burger came as advertised, I'll tell you that. For the Amherst Comets, they're going to be rolling out here to start, and we're going to get on the court first. You're going to see number 0, Ryan Yoder. He's a 5'8 senior. Scored 21 points his last time out, averaging 9.5 a game. He's going to be joined back there by number 2, Ashton Draga. Draga is a 5'10 junior, averages 6 points a game. Also starting out there going to be the coach's son. Number 5 is Landon Gray. He's a 5'9 senior, averaging 16 a game. Also averaging 1.1 rebounds as well. Joining him will be Tristan Young. Tristan Young will be wearing number 10. He's a 6'2 junior. Tristan scored 7 his last time out. He's averaging 12.5 a game. And then rounding out the starting lineup is going to be our player of the game from our Elyria Catholic game that we had earlier. Number 15, Eli Solak, is a 6'3 junior. At 14 his last out, he's averaging 12 points a game, but also a leading rebounder for the Amherst Comets, bringing down 6.3 boards per game. Meanwhile, for the host, the Avon Eagles, they are going to be bringing out, I think I gave Max my starting lineup sheet, didn't I? I'm going to steal this back from you. So they are going to be bringing out for tonight, certainly the key guys starts with Tyson Ziegler. Tyson Ziegler is a 6-foot senior guard, averaging 12.3 points, 2.7 rebounds, and also 2.7 assists per game. Number 5 is Nolan Good, 6'2 junior guard. He averages 9.6 points, 4.3 rebounds. He's the leading assist guy out there as well for the Eagles, averaging 3.4 assists per game. Number 12, we talked about him already, Nathan Farley, coming back from injury after missing 9 games. He's a 6'3 senior guard forward, averaging 12.6 points, leading rebounder for the Avon Eagles at 6.4 rebounds per game. 14 is Zane Austin, a 6'2 senior guard. He averages 13.7 now on the season, and rounding out the starting lineup is Sam Toniolo. He's a 6'5 junior, and he's averaging 3.2 points and also brings down 5 rebounds a game. That's who's out there right now. Eli Solak, 15 in the circle for Amherst, jumping it up against Toniolo for Avon, and Eagles start things out. Ziegler drops it back to Good, and here we're off and running here. Avon and Amherst on the Lorain County Sports Network. Happy to have you along with us tonight. Avon had a little trouble last Tuesday getting on the scoring in the first part of the game, but St. Austin trying to change that right away. Misses, goes out of bounds. It's going to be a team rebound for the Eagles to keep possession here. Amherst does have this small lineup out there. Number 21 is Hunter. No, we don't to 20. Okay, I know. Sorry. There's the same issue we had last week with uniform. Number 12 is Nathan Farley going up from the left side. Shot is no good. Solak brings down the rebound, and coming back the other way, getting the ball into the corner is Austin Draga. Drives into the lane, kicks it back out top. Passing around. Solak going to pull up a three-pointer of his own off the back of the iron. Battle for the rebound is Toniolo, and Avon will come the other way. Finds an outlet pass down the way to Farley. Gets it down on the block to Ziegler, running the court, puts it up and in. So Ziegler gets on the board first for Avon, and that solves the issue of their big scoring drought they had for the first 4 minutes last week as they score in the first minute of this game. Here's Amherst trying to get into the lane, but stolen away, and Nathan Farley making his self-heard early, and he gets the assist on that one as Zane Austin runs it out for a 4-0 lead early by Avon.
So both buckets in transition so far. Great job turning defense into offense by the Eagles.
Solak gave a real kind of a shoulder push on that screen, no call, but Avon gets the ball anyway. Ball gets down to good. He misses it. Zane Austin's there to clean it up and get the next 2 points. He's got 4. It's 6-0, and Pat Bray for Amherst wants a timeout, and we're going to take one as well. Real quickly, we'll be back after this on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back to the action here in Avon. Amherst down 6-0. Pat Bray takes a quick timeout. Comets trying to get their offense going. Now final wide open on the left corner. Again, off the back of the iron, no good. But this time the rebound comes down for Amherst, and putting it back up and in is Landon Bray. That's the first 2 points of the game tonight for Comets. This is Ziegler back the other way. 6 minutes to go, first quarter. Austin handed it off to Farley and almost traveled, but Amherst takes it away and running the court the other direction. That's a net interference, but the ball went through anyway, and that's Yoder. Is that right, Max?
That's right, that is correct.
Right, so we have Yoder in our roster at 0, but for some reason he's out wearing 21 tonight. So Max went to the official scores book to make sure we had that right. This is Ziegler. We know that for Avon, and Tyson Ziegler has 4. And Avon has doubled up the Comets score 8-4 early. Now we're going to get, I believe, an illegal screen. Now they're going to call it an illegal screen, but it's a blocking foul. And that's going to be called, I believe, on Bray. It's going to be his first, team first. Landon Bray gets called for the block on the screen. Turnover for the Comets, and Avon's offense comes back with Nolan Good bringing the ball into the front court.
Yeah, that's certainly an interesting aspect of Amherst's offense. Obviously he's a point guard, but he does a lot of the facilitating on offense, even when he doesn't have the ball.
Great pass again inside. This is down to Good from Farley. No good from Good. And coming back the other way is Bray. Bray loses the dribble for a little bit, recovers, gets pressure from Zane Austin. Now working into the lane and then kicking it back out. This is Malicki now in the game. He came in during that timeout. That was a change Pat Bray wanted to make when he had that timeout called. So he's out there now. This is coach's son, Landon Bray. Now driving in the lane. Foot slid a little bit, no call. This is Malicki putting it up, no good, and rebound comes off. Nathan Farley, we're calling his name a lot here early on. He goes to put that one up, comes up short off the glass, and Amherst comes back the other way, still 8-4, 4:22 to go, first quarter.
It's interesting seeing the Comets go with the small ball approach here. Obviously, Solak coming out of the game, so we'll see if they try for a perimeter attack here or not.
All right, this time it's Yoder working around the top of the arc, gets some contact from Tyson Ziegler, who's going to get his first foul of the game. So team fouls just one apiece. We're about halfway through the first quarter. So not on a pace we're going to be worried about that. Here come the Comets. Comets struggling a little bit on offense, but good news is they're only down by 4 points, so no reason to panic by any means. Yoder's going to put up a 3, and all of a sudden it's a 1-point game. I like when they listen to me like that. No reason to panic, hit a nice shot, and all of a sudden it's a 1-point game, even though they've struggled here early. Now this is And Farley, that time I'm not sure if he got hit in the face by the hand of the defender or the ball came up when he hit the ball, and I think bopped him right in the nose.
Lost the contact, possibly.
He's going to run off to the locker room, and quickly coming off the bench in the other direction is Ali Jabber. And we expect a lot of minutes from him again this week as part of the regular rotation for Avon. Toniolo gets the inbound pass, puts it out to Ziegler. Ziegler to Good, top of the arc. Drives in the lane, jump stop. Toniolo running to the baseline, kicks it out to Jobber, and this time it comes back to Austin. Tyson Ziegler eyeing it up. He can definitely hit that from there. Toniolo muscling in the side, gets double teamed and loses the ball for a second, but recovers to get it out to Ziegler, who hits a 3, and Tyson has 7 already.
My goodness, he's certainly on pace to match his brother from the JV game, Joey, who had 17 in Avon's win.
Wow, he's got to outdo the younger brother, right? I mean, you can't end the younger brother, regardless of whether the level of competition is different.
That's right.
All right, this is Balicki. Gets it back out top. And a ball fake from Brave, because Brave, we've seen him shoot from that far too, so you got to respect that ball fake. Now driving in the lane, pumping up. Now try to drop it down the baseline, but already moving without the ball was Balicki, and Draga's pass goes out of bounds. Another turnover for the Comets. Balicki will sit down. Solak back in the game for Amherst. 11-7 Eagles. Under 3 minutes to go, first quarter.
Definitely just a miscommunication there. And that's going to happen when you have maybe some guys that aren't as used to playing with each other. Right there is Balicki, as just a sophomore, but certainly a bright future ahead of him.
That's like when you're looking for the receiver to go one way, and he thinks he's helping going the other way. Doesn't always work out. See if Avon can take advantage here. This is Yoder. Extended his defense on Ziegler. Jobber working. Tries to get it down the baseline. This is Austin running the baseline up off the glass, off the front of the rim. No good. We've seen probably 4 or 5 of those already for Avon. And here comes Nolan Good, reading the floor and grabbing the cross-court pass and taking it into the lane and up and good for his first 2 of the game. Great defense by Good. Good alertness. And now great punt pass underneath. Wow. Solak running the baseline and gets the easy. Well, I say easy. It wasn't highly defended, but he had to come off the baseline and put it up over his head. 13-9, under 2 minutes to go, first quarter. Nice first quarter, good start to this game here. Southwestern Conference old foes. This is Ziegler going to pull up and hit a 2-point shot. Ziegler has 9 in the first quarter. Amherst only has 9 as a team. Here come the Comets again, driving into the lane and getting some contact with Draga. This time, that'll send him to the line. His shot's no good, but we'll get our first foul shots of the game. That foul's going to be called on Sam Toniolo. His first, only the second team foul of the quarter on Avon. Only the 3rd foul called all quarter.
Talk about a fearless drive. The 5'10" Draga going against Jobber, 6'4", and Toniolo 6'5". I mean, it's a very difficult finish right there.
Undaunted, and last time he went down there, he got caught up, and that's where he wanted to dump it down to the baseline. This time he took it himself and went up with it. Now again, some subs from the Avon side in the white jerseys. Number 3 is Chance Miller. 10 is Paul Leftrick. We saw them both a lot last week. We see them a lot each week. The guy we're looking to come off the bench is Joey Griffiths, because he really had a great subs game last week coming off the bench and contributing for Avon, which is something that was a big help to get them past Lorraine High last Tuesday here on the Lorraine County Sports Network. Avon working down to about 1:15 to go here, first quarter. This is Miller on the left side, gets it down on the block to Ziegler, gets double teamed from behind, and as Balicki goes up to block the shot, he's going to get called for a foul from behind. I believe that's going to be from behind. Yep. 12 is Balicki, his first, team second. And going to the line will be Tyson Ziegler, his first shot to the line, but he is the leading free throw shooter for the Avon Eagles. You mentioned we're going to be talking about our sponsors all night long. I certainly want to highlight our good friends at Lorraine County Community College. Your year, your class is your future. Lorraine County Community College brings you the opening tip-off of each and every one of our Stewart's TV and Appliance games of the week. Ziegler hits the first one, second one, and he's in double figures already here in the first quarter. Wow, it's a nice start The great thing about Avon is he can come out and get 11 in the first quarter, and they don't really need him to score because someone else will pick up the offensive slack if the Comet defense decides to kind of overcompensate on Ziegler. And we talked about that in the opening lineups as the scoring averages are pretty back to the Eagles. Job
on the game.
We had a great game at Larry Catholic earlier this year, and he clearly earned those player of the game honors. This is Ziegler trying to add to that total. That one's no good. Going up high is Balicki to get the rebound, and Amherst coming back with 26 seconds to go. We'll see if they'll try for the last shot. Nope, they're trying to get it down to the baseline to Solak. He wasn't really even, so Amherst will keep it with 20.0 to go, and now into the game for the first time tonight is Colton Fitch. Well, we ran through that whole Fitch family tree last week with Bill Fitch, and I'm still not. I got to figure out where Colton falls into that. But I believe he's the son of the Avon Lake coach. I got that tie-in too. All right, last 14 seconds of the first quarter. Amherst with the ball. Liss is working on the left side. Tristan Young. Ball gets loose, but picked up, and Amherst maintains possession down to 5 seconds. Bray, I believe that's his first shot of the game. Tied for the game, and it's a three-point contest as we get to the first break. Avon's up 17-14 over Amherst. We were hoping for a good one. We got a great start, so stick around on the Lorain County Sports Network. John Guzik and Max Drummond back here at Avon High School. Glad to have you along. Our final broadcast of the season. I'm going to give you that auto body shop at Avon. We've got a couple of Avon businesses that have been a part of the whole season of the Lorain County Sports Network. We'll talk about some of the other ones as we go through the evening. Amherst trying to break in and tie up this game. They're going to get a charge called against Draga as he turned around. Pat Bray's on the other end of the court, which I don't think you'd be a high school coach if you didn't question. All right, it's a one possession game. Avon trying to change that as Austin brings it into the front court. Hands off to Leftrick. Leftrick, pass off on the right side. Goes over to Fitch. Back to Leftrick, still working. Now going to pull up with an off-balance jumper and no good, but the rebound picked up and put back in by Zane Austin. Zane Austin has 6 already. So the big scorers from Avon are doing all the scoring so far, and now coming up with a steal, Chance Miller going back the other way against Bray. Dumps it off to Austin, got contact, no call as he goes to the floor. Shot's no good, and Solak comes off with the rebound. So Amherst survives that steal and fast break. 19-14, we're under 7 minutes to go and a half.
Yeah, great job by Landon Bray slowing down the fast break there.
Balicki goes to the basket. He gets the contact this time. No, and one as we're going to go to the Rewalk Law LLC free throw line. Call attorney Chris Rewalk for a free consultation. Again, appreciate all these sponsors who make all this stuff happen for it. It literally does not happen without all that great work that the crew back at the station does to communicate that, and the sponsors who put their hard-earned dollars up front to make sure that you can enjoy these broadcasts. Or at least you can enjoy the video part. The audio part maybe not always that great coming from. I got to work on it. I was always, and then they put me on video. I was told, I had a face for radio and a voice for newspaper, and then they put me on video. So, my apologies to the viewers. 19-16, coming back the other way and making a dash for the basket on a great spin move is Chance Miller. He's got his first 2 of the game. 21-16. Here come the Comets driving down the baseline, putting up a fall-away jumper is Tristan Young for his first 2 of the game. back to a one-possession game. Amherst offense was a little more sluggish. It appeared early in the game, but only because Avon had 8, so Avon never was able to really take advantage of that. But as he tries to outlet it to Bray, goes out and gets it back. 5:55 to go here in the first half. 21-18 to score. This is Nolan Good quarterbacking the inbounds play. Gets it to Farley and over to Miller and then back to Good, and a good ball movement, gets it off on the right side. And that is a three-pointer from Andy Velasco with his first basket of the game. Pushes it out to a 6-point advantage for Avon.
We saw our fair share of passes like that a few weeks ago at Hallelujah Catholic when we covered Amherst.
Nolan Good with a great block, and Chance Miller comes away. Gets it up to Miller. I'm sorry. That's up the left side, and Miller's good. 4 for Miller, and biggest lead of the game now for the Eagles at 8, 26-18. Now this one's stolen out of the air by Farley on a very kind of a lazy pass. Gets it to Ziegler, running the court, puts it up off the front of the rim. No good. Rebound Amherst. Take a chance to get a breath and come back. As I said, it's been a one-possession game for a lot of this contest, but Amherst clearly, their offense just hasn't found that flow yet. Ziegler goes to the court after trying to get through a pick. No call. Gets back up. Amherst didn't take advantage of it and misses the shot. Battle for the rebound keeps going on. It's punched in the air by Miller, and this time grabbed on the left side by Yoder. And Yoder's got 7. We'll take a quick break. We'll talk about that last play when we come back. This is just a 30-second timeout off the Avon bench. It's 26-20 Eagles as we continue here on the Lorain County Sports Network. A rather energetic conversation with one of the officials. It's taken literally the entire timeout. Now that official is still explaining to Mike Fitch what happened. But I was going to point out, and again, from our angle, we only have one angle at it. We're not seeing exactly, but it appeared that Miller had punched the ball for Avon to keep that last rebound attempt alive, and you can never punch the basketball. There was no call, but that would be something obviously Amherst would be talking about, not Avon. And Tyson Ziegler puts all the noise aside and drops a 2-pointer, and he continues to roll as he now has 13. 8-point lead again for the Eagles. Matches their biggest of the contest. Running the baseline and putting his shot up, and no good is Draga, and Avon comes away with a rebound. That's going to be a travel. Yeah. So as Velasco grabbed the ball and kind of was deciding what to do with it, took that extra step, Amherst gets it right back. 4:13 to go in the half.
Yeah, that's a tough break right there for the Eagles. I mean, they have a chance to possibly make it a double-digit lead right there, but now Amherst, halfway through the quarter here, can cut this lead down a little bit.
And we can see how the season has gone for both teams. We can look at the records. We can look at the RPI. We know there's a favorite, in this game, but these conference games, and again, Amherst just a couple weeks ago beating number 1 Illyria, is you don't want to let the Comets hang around any longer. Like you said, if you can get out that bigger lead, that's what Avon needs to do. Long possession for Amherst. A good job of protecting the ball. And Balicki finds a way to get up and over everybody. He's got 4. And then coming back the other way, Landon Bray knocks it out of bounds, goes right into Bill Fitch's lap. Avon keeps the possession. And Chance Miller is going to take a break for Avon.
Bill Fitch laughing that off. He's probably seen that countless times here in his time watching basketball.
It makes you wonder, a guy like that, how many basketball games has he watched, played in, officiated? I mean, it's literally thousands. Left hook shot, no good. Battle for the rebound comes down to Yoder, and here comes Amherst back the other way. I'm still confused with Yoder because I have him at the top of my list because it was supposed to be 0, and I got to keep finding him on my stat sheets. We'll figure it out here. The hard parts of doing play-by-play right here in local basketball. 3 minutes to go, first half. Still a 6-point lead for Avon. Amherst being patient on offense. I said, haven't found that flow, but they're not rushing. This one's going to be a two-pointer. Foot's on the line, shot short. Nolan Good trying to track it down, but it stepped out of bounds before he was able to grab it, so Amherst will get it back. St. Austin back in the game. Velasco takes a break for the Eagles. Now Toniolo almost got his hand on the inbounds pass, but it got through and gets over to Tristan Young, who grabs it, puts it right back up and in for his 4th point of the game, and it's a 4-point difference in this contest.
I mean, how did Bray even find him there in all that traffic? I'll never understand that.
That's leadership and paying attention in practice, right? And getting through all those things and know where your guy's going to be. Here's Avon. This is Good. Working in, kicks it out on the far right side to Ziegler. That shot's off the back of the iron. Toniolo got the rebound. All kinds of contact. They're going to call a grab on the arm underneath. An old friend Gary Lilly is going to report a hold on Tristan Young. It's going to be his first. Got to call out those Southview Saints when I can, man, especially since they tore our school down. But Gary, one of those distinguished alumni out here calling from the black and white stripes. 2:18 to go in the half. Toniolo hits the court, and then as Ziegler grabs the pass, Drago runs into him to get his 2nd foul. Still only the 3rd foul against Amherst for the quarter. Eli Solak going to come back in for the Comets. Nick Abraham Buick GMC. That's another one of the people that we want you to keep in mind when you ever get into the car buying mode, or you can just go anytime to shopbyabraham.com, part of our Lorain County Sports Network sponsors here. Avon offense working that figure 8, trying to dump it down the left. Rick, he was a little deep, so he tried to get rid of it, and Ziegler did a good job of keeping it alive. Gets it down the lane to Austin, no good. Gets his own rebound, back up. Ball came out of his hand somehow. Goes out of bounds to Amherst, and Nathan Farley comes back in as Toniolo takes a break for the Eagles. 1:59 to go. Again, back to only a 4-point margin. Max, you mentioned earlier, Avon had a possession, a chance to go up by double digits. Now, just a couple minutes later, Amherst has a chance to make this a 1-possession game again. This is Solak working across the lane and then dumping it down to Bray, but Paul Lefter gets his hand in there. Bray gets it back. He's going to reset the offense back way out top to Yoder. 1:37 to go.
And we're in an interesting spot here for Amherst. Normally their offense, they like to go fast, they like to move it, but right here you might want to hold on it for as long of a possession as you can, whatever possessions you have left in this half.
I was going through that earlier today. We'll talk about their points that scored this year. Now they're going to get some attempt from the left side, and Landon Bray drops his 2nd 3 of the game. He's got 8. It is a 1-point game, 1-1-1 on the clock. This is Ziegler. Gets it over to Austin. Leftrick going to try his own 3. Long. Solak with the rebound. Amherst got a chance to take the lead here. They have not had a lead all game. They have a chance to go in the locker room with a lead. They can protect this here. That's going to be a heck of an accomplishment for the Comets, as they clearly have not been any type of flow offensively. They've made up for it with good rebounding and solid defense. Put them in this position here as we go to the final 42 seconds. Not worry about a 5-second count there, even though he's not doing much with it. The count could start at any time in that situation. It looks like Amherst might even go for the last shot here. Try to do just that, get that lead going in the locker room. Solak picks up his dribble, and he's got to get rid of it. And he gets Yoder down the lane. He dumps it off to Balicki on the left side. He puts it up and in, and they do have that first lead of the game. Balicki with 6, and it's 29-20 at Amherst, 15 seconds to go. You want to work for that last second shot, but you couldn't pass up that. Great ball movement. They made Avon extend their defense, and they took advantage of the spacing. This is Nolan Good. 4 seconds to go. He's going to have to put something up. Deep 3 from the top of the key. In and out, no good. And Amherst, after trailing the entire first half, is going to the locker room with a lead. And Avon coach Mike Fitch is on a mission to the locker room because he's definitely not happy about that. And actually, we're seeing the official that was talking to the one assistant coach. You don't see this often in the game. Official like seeking out an assistant coach to go further into whatever that conversation was during that timeout earlier. Either way, we've brought ourselves to the Peace, Love, and Little Donuts halftime show here on the Lorain County Sports Network, and we've got a great, very important guest coming up to talk to you. think he told me they have 46 seniors that are going to be recognized on senior night. And I was like, that's an awful big basketball team. But on senior night, it's not only the basketball team, the cheerleaders, I'm sure there's pep band, but wow, we're seeing the Avon dance team out there, and that's a large contingent of Avon dancers with our halftime entertainment. But we've come up with our tradition here on the Lorain County Sports Network basketball season, have feature an interview at halftime every game, and we've had some great guests throughout the season. And bottom line is, as we end this last broadcast of the season, we wanted to talk to Edwin Vereen, because none of this would be happening without the on-site production, direction, technical support, and everything else that goes into making this stream possible here. Edwin, thank you very much for all your work you do all season long.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And of course, not only with all the work you do, but also you're the first guy here, the last one to leave, to make this all happen as well.
Yeah, the first one in, the last one out. I truly enjoy this. I really do. I really enjoy it.
Tell our viewers and listeners a little bit about yourself. What's your background?
I'm originally from the great state of South Carolina, by way of the great state of Myrtle Beach. My background is in journalism and mass communication. Dave Rivera found me on Twitter back in 2021. He's like, hey, you want to work in radio? I was like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a shot. And I went from writing for Keon Sports Media Group to now working in radio to now doing the whole live stream setup. So I'm kind of a jack of all trades.
Well, I know even on the games when we're not doing our live stream, you're at those games and you have other content that you produce. So talk a little bit about that and those sites.
Yes, I produce social media content for WOBL, WDLW, and also produce content for I-90 Sports for social media as well, too. And it's great. It's great going to the games and seeing these athletes in Lorain County.
So how did this Lorain County Sports Network all come together from your standpoint? We know it was about a year ago and this last season ended, the conversations got going. When did you become involved in those conversations? How did that evolve?
Probably around the springtime of last year. Gary was like, hey, if you want to do video live stream, you want to do it? I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And so it's been a learning process, and have had some ups and downs, but it's all a learning process, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
Well, Gary Tollett is the owner of WOBL, WDLW. That's the Gary he refers to there, makes all this happen for everybody. But, you talk about ups and downs. Part of taking this on the road to a different site every game, there's different physical constraints that come with different gymnasiums and different points of the county that you've had to deal with. So you've learned a lot, I'm sure.
Right, from internet access to find out where the outlets are, to positioning the camera to get a half court, to making sure you and Max sound wonderful. And it's been a challenge, but I'm up for it. I really enjoy it.
But certainly bandwidth is also a thing we got to make sure we have enough with. And what a difference in a football press box, kind of out in the open, to being in some of these gyms with all the concrete, but also all the people with cell phones in their pockets really can eat up a lot of bandwidth too. But we made it all happen. Appreciate that. And the best compliment I can say to everything that you've been a part of is that back at the station, they're talking about how can we do more and bigger things for next season. This is kind of just like, we were the rats in the maze to see if these guys could figure it out. Then anybody can figure it out. But supposedly, I guess we did okay. If they're still talking about we didn't kill the baby.
No, we didn't. We did. We're still feeding the baby and keeping it alive.
Yeah, we're going to grow that child next year. We're going to talk about that as we go through as well. So any particular highlight either from football or basketball that is part of your season this year?
There's too many to name, to be honest with you. There's way entirely too many to name. It's just football is my sport, of course. I really enjoy doing that. But this has reignited my love for basketball. And just seeing these guys run around on the court, go back and forth, and I think I can get out there, but knowing at age 41, can't do it no more like I used to.
Well, I know you spend a lot of time in the gyms because you say football, but I see you around basketball all the time. Like I mentioned, you're out there with our WOBL crew on Friday nights. I know I see you in the gyms during summer basketball, even getting some footage and some background on some of the players coming up for the next year. So you're doing your homework. You're getting a lot of things done, and we appreciate everything you've done to make this season happen here for year number one here on the Lorain County Sports Network. And I don't know, Michael, you got this shot here. This is his setup with all of the everything. First goes through YouTube, so we got to be through an internet connection, and we got to have a director's setup here with audio and video and preview screens and all that. So Edwin makes all this happen. Like I said, first guy here, last guy to leave before the end of the night, and we appreciate everything you did, as this is our final half of this inaugural season of the Lorraine County Sports Network. Thank you, Edwin. Let's go back to Max Drummond here as we get to halftime. It's 29-28. Amherst, their only lead of the game was with 15 seconds to go in the half, where they converted to take this advantage at one point into the halftime. So we'll run down this. You're calculating things there at halftime that made a difference and kept Amherst to get that lead.
So, especially near the end, offense being able to hit perimeter shots and their ball movement, it's been, from all the teams we've watched this year, I think it might be unmatched. There might be some risky passes out there, but the fact that they're always looking for that extra look, that extra man, not settling for any shots, that's really come up clutch there. And then they've withstood 6 turnovers. Avon's only had 3 turnovers themselves, so we'll see how that shakes out.
So, and pretty much most of those turnovers were steals by the other team. So that one stat right there, with our stats brought to you by Alan Januzzi, CPA, brings you a little perspective on what's happening. So we'll talk about what the keys of the second half, but obviously cleaning up turnovers is not an issue for either team. Health Markets Insurance brings you this halftime show. If you're uninsured, enroll today with Jeff Allison in Amherst. And we'll run down the scores now for Amherst. Quarters of 14 and 15. And it led on the court by their coach's son. The senior Landon Bray ends up with 8 points off a couple threes, as well as a 2-point field goal. 7 for Ryan Yoder. 6 for Andrew Balicki, including that last shot of the half that gave them that lead. And then you got 4 points from Tristan Young, and 2 free throws from Ashton Draga, and 2 points from Eli Solak. Meanwhile, for the Avon Eagles, started out with a 3-point lead after one, 17 points in the first quarter, 11 in the second quarter. No doubt, Tyson Ziegler lighting it up from all points of the court. 3-pointers, 2-pointers, layups, jump shots, free throws, total 13 points in the first half for the Avon Eagles. He was backed up by Zane Austin, who had 6. Chance Miller comes off the bench with 4 points, as did Andy Falasco, hit a 3-pointer, also off the bench. So bench scoring a big part of Avon's first half. Nolan Good rounded out the scoring with 2 points for the Eagles. That gets us set for the second half. We're going to be ready back for the action in just about 30 seconds, right after this on the Lorraine County Sports Network. Bench points could be a big deal with this game as we go into the second half here. Avon, I think we saw that last week against Lorraine, kind of wears a team down at the end of the game by being so active. What does Amherst have to do here, Max, to win this game out?
Certainly keep relying on their depth, but also be aggressive, very aggressive, and force passes like that. But, once they're able to get more of that transition offense going, that's when they're at their most lethal.
That's what we talked about just a second ago, that turnovers were not a big part of the first half, but they start the second half giving Amherst the ball back just 9 seconds into the quarter. So Amherst not only with their first lead of the game, but a chance to build on that. Making their patience on their offense has been a lot to do with this guy right here, Landon Bray, senior coach's son, not going to panic even though they were down by as many as 8 in the first half. It's one thing to be down 8. It's another thing to be down 8 and you're the underdog. That's psychologically a different thing. Eli Solak misses that shot, but fights for his own rebound, gets it to Bray in the corner for 3 and hits it. Bray in double figures now. He has 11. Avon needs to find a way to answer. Now working against this Amherst defense. This is Farley, way away from the basket, though. Nolan Good looks for Zane Austin to pull up, turn, instead of 3 way off the back of the iron, and Eli Solak another rebound. Amherst coming back the other way with this 4-point lead. Boy, the tide has certainly changed. Max, you pointed out, Avon had a chance to go up by 10 at one point, and since that spot, Amherst has outscored them to take this 4-point lead. Boy, almost looks like the alley-oop. Hard to alley-oop to a 6-foot guy down there, but play goes out of bounds, and that's the first turnover in the second half for Amherst.
And right here, if you're Avon, I think obviously Ziegler, he's been one of their most effective scorers. I think you probably need to focus going back to him. Even though Amherst may be expecting it, got to get him open.
The great thing that makes Avon so dangerous is you got guys like Good and Austin who can score just as much as Farley and Ziegler. That's a shot by Good that's no good. Comes off to Farley, back to Good. Cross pass to Ziegler, went right through his hands and hits the referee. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if an Amherst player hit it. Did it not hit Ziegler in the shoulder? Or did he get out of the way that fast?
He made his case. It didn't touch him, if I'm reading his lips correctly.
Well, the official standing right here, to his benefit, I got to say, if that ball's coming right at you, your first impulse is to protect yourself, not to see if it hit Ziegler, but that's how they decide it worked, and Ziegler is going to make it pay. He drops a 3. He has 16 points already here in this game, and it's back to a 1-point margin, 6:02 to go in the third quarter. It's nice to have a great game to finish with. I got to thank our sports director friend Don Vincent, who spends all this time with Dave Rivera getting the schedule together and picking these games. We're going to talk a little bit more about how the schedule is going to end up on the radio side, as there's a shot missed by Young and rebounded, comes across to Toniolo, and Avon back on offense. This is Farley, hesitation dribble, pull up, 10-footer, no good, rebound, Landon Bray. 5.5 to go, third quarter. You guys got the feeling right now this thing's coming down to the final minute. These guys know each other. They're both playing hard and trying to get in some points there. Is Draga in and out, no good. Toniolo, another rebound, and good, comes back the other way across the timeline. Both teams struggling a little bit offensively to get some rhythm here in the first 3 minutes. Nolan Good going to try to change that. That's off the rim, no good. Farley rebound, going to pick it back up himself. And they're going to call a foul on Young. Again, we talk a lot about the game of angles, but from this angle, it looked like Tristan got on top of the ball and stopped him. But again, that's just our angle from this side, so it's going to send Nathan Farley. He'll be at the line for the first time. And again, we thank our friends at Rewalk Law LLC. Bring you our free throw line every game. You can call attorney Chris Rewalk for a free consultation. This one's up and not good. And coming in is Andrew Balicki, 12 for Amherst.
Interestingly enough, before that one, both teams just combined for 5 attempts, despite such a physical SWC matchup.
Well, and that's when you get SWC officials who know the conference, are not going to call ticky-tack stuff. These guys are strong enough and talented enough to play through contact. And I mentioned it last Friday night on our broadcast that it's right there in this rule book that all contact does not make a foul. And basketball is a contact sport. Direct quotes out of the rule book. Amherst looking to get through their contact and add to this lead. And deep 3 from the left side by Solak, no good. Rebound, Good. Good not having his best shooting night of the season, but he's handling the ball well and getting to the boards. That time it's Eli Solak getting to the boards off a miss by Nathan Farley. A couple bad misses by both teams. Still a 1-point game. And trying to get the lead back, and does. Landon Bray has 14 now. 8 in the first half, already 6 here in the second half, or not even halfway through the third quarter.
And he's perfect, 5 of 5 from the field.
Is that right? Wow, he's shaping up to be a shooting star of the game. Ziegler challenged that, and he does. Works on another 3. He's got 19. 36-35, Avon back in the lead. 3:50 to go in the third quarter. So this is turning into a horse race that's going down to the end, and Toniolo bats the ball away. A little clenched pose over Drake after he blocked it, but quick enough that the official made no. I'm not sure why we're taking the ball out of bounds there when the ball got knocked out of bounds. Did it not get knocked out of bounds underneath the baseline? I missed something there? Not sure what happened.
They've been right in between.
I thought the ball clearly went off on the A in Avon. And all of a sudden we're taking the ball out in front of the Avon bench. I'm not sure. Blocked the shot right out of bounds. Okay, we'll move on, right? The official in me wants to know the answer to these mechanical technicalities, because I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I want to correct it. All right, we got a foul on that one. is on Farley, and answering off the inbounds pass again from Bray is Tristan Young, and Tristan Young has 6. First foul on Farley, first team foul of the second half, third quarter. And this is Farley working the left side lane, lays it up and in. Farley has 3, and here comes Amherst. Back and forth now. Lead changes on almost every single possession. Yoder gets stopped, looking for help, gets it on the right side, and now dumping it down and getting it right back on the give and go is Draga. Shot doesn't go, but he will go to that Rewalk ball free throw line.
Very impressive that he even got a shot up over Joe Griffiths that time. He's entered the game for the Eagles.
Draga made both his free throws in the first half. He's only a junior, but in our Mr. and Miss Basketball Watch, we watch our seniors, and I remind you that Miss Basketball Watch is brought to you by I-90 Nissan in Sheffield, because the deals are so good. And we're going to have a high contenders for that award on our radio stations this week. We'll tell you about that in just a minute as Draga makes the second free throw, and Amherst has the lead back. I should have started tallying the lead changes a little earlier. Now that one clearly went off of Bray's leg as it went out of bounds, so Bray wanted to charge down the lane as Austin going up in between 2 defenders. Nice body control. St. Austin has 8, and it's back to a lead for Avon. Yoder here on the left side in the corner to Draga, driving in the lane. Bounces it across the other side to Young. Yoder comes and get it. This is Bray way up top. Chance Miller's got to respect his shooting range and comes out to guard him. Driving in is Young, loses the ball, recovers it. Amherst keeps the possession on the block, but to the shortest guy on the court, so he's going to look to get some help. He does, finally to Young, and now I believe we're going to get a time off for Pat Bray off the Amherst bench, kind of save this stagnated Amherst possession. We're going to take a quick timeout as well. With 2:06 to go, this back and forth game currently has a 1-point lead for Avon over Amherst on the Lorain County Sports Network. We're in Avon tonight. I'll tell you that the Avon girls have already won their first tournament game. They beat Notre Dame Cathedral Latin on Saturday right here on this court, 61-26. Now they got to go on the road. They'll be at Akron Ellett on Thursday. Ellett is the number 20 seed and Avon 27. We'll talk about the Amherst girls in just a second. Amherst here, the boys inbound is stolen by Chance Miller on the left block, and Avon has a chance to get 2 possessions in a row with the lead if they can score here. Boy, this has been back and forth since it was 29-28, and now, yeah, we're going to get a foul. Yeah. That's certainly the right call. Bray got caught kind of going one way, and Jobber made a good first step going along the sideline. Second foul on Bray, second team foul in the third quarter. He's applying tough defense on the inbounds pass. Which when you're the inbounder, you know what the inbounder's tendencies are, so defending it might be an advantage. Boy, it is Tyson Ziegler's night. He is a senior guard averaging 12.3 a game. He already has 21 points in this contest. Now that's going to be a travel down the lane. Turnover for Amherst, and Avon getting a chance to get some momentum here. St. Austin takes a break in the game for him. Number 11 is Colton Fitch, who saw some time in the first half. Minute and a half to go. Third quarter, I'm sorry. 3-point lead here in the third quarter for Avon. Ziegler trying to find somebody open. Drives in, getting a double team, and Yoder takes it right out of his hands as he went up for the pass. Great steal by the Comets and another turnover for the Eagles. That's been Yoder running to Young in the corner. Keeps the possession alive. 47 seconds to go in the third quarter. And Landon Bray will back it out. See if they can make this back to a 1-point game or even a tie before the half. We saw this at the end of the second quarter. They were happy with 40-some seconds left to work for the last second shot. It worked well for them in the first half. Let's see how it does here in the third quarter. We thought Young took a step, but may have ruled that the ball was being bobbled. That time gets a lot of contact from Joey Griffiths, but no call on Chance Miller the other way. Plays it up and in. Well, you talk about letting them play through contact, Max, but kind of a full-size shove from the side from Griffiths, no call. Trying to answer with a three before the buzzer. That one's no good. Miller comes away with it. And now he's going to be the beneficiary of a foul at midcourt. And I'll tell you, here's the thing about that. And certainly there's no instant replay in high school basketball. But Chance Miller's moving full speed down the court. He leaves his feet at one spot, gets contact from the defender. Again, depends where the defender was positioned, but a lot of times that contact is actually on the offender because he's going out of his space when he's making the pass. He's going out of his frame of body, but they do call the foul on Amherst. Only 0.5 left, so barely enough time to kind of tap it up and in. Technically, if it's 0.3, you can't catch it. 0.5, you can. Big stress on the clock operator on this one. Doesn't matter. Amherst knocks it away, and that's how the quarter ends. Avon does score the final 6 points of the third quarter, and that's where we stand here going into the final frame as the Eagles have built up a 5-point lead. 44-39 as the final quarter of this first season on the Lorain County Sports Network is next. So stick around with myself and Max Drummond here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Doing this from memory, but I'm pretty sure there was 8 lead changes in that quarter, or since the end of the second quarter. And then Avon scores the final 6 points of the third quarter to pull out to a 5-point lead. Comets get to start the fourth quarter with the ball. So take advantage of this here and see if we can get this seesaw game back going. Things going to come down to the wire here. Both teams going to play Friday night, of course, final regular season game of the year for the Amherst Comets. They're going to be going to get back home for their senior night against North Ridgeville. Meanwhile, Avon takes on their rivals on their senior night right here on this floor. This is Tristan Young in the lane, takes contact, then hesitates, picks it up off the glass and in. Tristan Young has 8.
Great patience right there by Young.
Here comes Jobber running the lane. No dump off the pass to Toniolo. Toniolo been working his butt off on the rebounding side. That's his first 2 points of the game. Back out to a 5-point margin for the Eagles. Exciting game today. Nice community crowd out here for Avon. I gotta say I'm a little disappointed in the student crowd tonight. But they know they've got 3 home games left. And Gray says, we want this one. Gray has 17 now with that 3-pointer. Back to a 1-possession game very quickly here. Amherst offense clicking to start the fourth quarter. Avon trying to answer on this end. This is Zane Austin giving it up to Jobber. Drives in the lane, takes contact, and hitting the deck is Andrew Balicki. He's going to get the foul called on him. First foul, obviously, of the fourth quarter.
And fouls haven't played too much of a role so far, but as we get down the stretch here, gets a little more pressure on the game in general, we'll see if that changes at all.
Jobber out to Austin, steps inside the 3-point arc, no good. Balicki gets the rebound, and Amherst comes the other way. 2-point game, 6:32 to go, fourth quarter. Avon Avon nursing this lead, but Amherst an opportunity to take the lead back on this possession. Out top is Draga on the right side. Gray gets it into Young. Young looks like he's moving his feet, and they're going to get a foul call from behind. Toniolo tried to block the much shorter shooter. It's going to be on Jobber, actually. His first. Came first for the fourth quarter. And heading to the line is Tristan Young. His first trip there today. Not a lot of missed free throws today. That's a good thing to see. Again, as you go into the end of the season, anything's possible, right? I mean, Amherst, again, their record, not something they're excited about, especially in the conference. But they get a good start going against Euclid. If they win that, they'd have a whole lot of momentum going against St. Ed's. And this is a team that really, one of those teams nobody wants to face. Tristan Young ties the game up. We haven't had a whole lot of ties today. I think the first tie since 0-0, actually. 6:13 to go in the game. We are right where we started as far as point differential is, and that's exciting always. Now, Chance Miller, again, letting them play through contact. You got to push him aside from Draga, but Chance Miller says, I am unfazed, and I have 8 points. Avon has the lead back. Another lead change. Solak dumps it down on the baseline. Shot blocked by Jobber. Fighting to get out of traffic. Gets it away to the midcourt line to Miller, who brings it into the front court. Cuts in, gives it back to Jobber. Austin open by himself for 3 on the left side. It's off the back of the iron, no good. Ball bounced around in no man's land until it got picked up by the Comets. And now trying to get it down on the baseline to Young. Again, taking some contact that caused him to move that step. They're going to call the travel. No foul call. Jobber takes a break for Avon. And we haven't seen a lot this half of Nathan Farley, who has been such a big part of the Avon game. So hope he hasn't re-aggravated any type of injury. Still on normal spot on the bench with his warm-ups on. 2-point lead for Avon. 5:17 to go in the fourth quarter. Chance Miller drives down the baseline, dumps it off to Good. Maybe got a little too fancy, but his teammate Toniolo is there to clean it up. Toniolo has 4 in the quarter, 4 in the game, and it's a 4-point lead. 5 minutes to go exactly. I guess I'm going to say in the fourth quarter in this game, because this is all the signs of playing some extra time. Meanwhile, Solak, not a lot of attempts, but that one drops right through from about 11 feet. He's got 4. 2-point game. This is Austin, handoff to Good. Good. Little shimmy shake into the lane. Gets it off to Toniolo. Shot no good. Tip no good. Rebound. Balicki. Amherst back the other way with a chance to tie or take the lead. How many times we said that in the second half? Solak drives down the left block. Puts up a 4-footer. No good. Toniolo with the rebound for Avon. Avon coming back the other way. This is Chance Miller. Cross-court pass to Ziegler on the move. Up off the glass. No good. Rebound Solak. Coming back the other way, Draga gets contact from Good, gets the ball away. Play stays alive and going to the basket and getting knocked to the deck. Tristan Young. Foul, I believe, is going to be on Miller. Nope. Calling it on Good. Good first in the game. Second team foul with 4:02 to go, and it'll send Young back to the line where he's been 2 of 2 so far today. Eyes it, shoots it, in and out. No, and we just talked about number 12 for Avon. He's back on the court. Nathan Farley in there tonight, 3 points, averaging 12.6 on the season. More importantly, 6.4 rebounds. With his absence in there, Sam Toniolo has really felt that, and you see him take over on the rebounding end as much as he could for the Eagles. Second shot attempts up, in and out. Toniolo with that rebound. Yeah, they've been on cue for me a few times. I appreciate that from the guys. Nolan Good, kind of an ill-advised pass. Easy pickoff by Draga, and Amherst comes back the other way, still with another chance to tie or take the lead.
That's one thing that certainly kept Amherst in this game, even when they've struggled, is that effort.
Young gets his shot blocked, going off the right block. Those goes out of bounds via team rebound for the Comets to keep this possession alive. 3:39 to go, fourth quarter, 2-point game. It's been everything it's been cracked up to be. Two neighborhood rivals getting at it. Turnaround jumper in the lane by Bray is no good. It might be his first missed shot of the game, right?
Yep.
But Sam Toniolo there for another Eagle rebound, and back the other way comes Avon. Bray's he's been very judicious with his shot selection, and it's paid off. Nolan Good is at a tough night shooting, but that turnaround jumper gets him a 4-point lead as he has 4 points, but answering back in the other direction is Drago. And Mike Fitch says we can't be giving up those easy fast break points like that, guys. Let's talk about our defense, and we'll take a timeout as well. Avon still up by 2, 3:08 to go in the fourth quarter here on the Lorain County Sports Network. John Guzik and Max Drummond back here in Avon. Out of our last break, I talked about the Avon girls postseason. Amherst girls already won their first postseason game. They beat Glen Oak 31-28. They're going to play this Thursday, going to Medina to play Highland. Amherst girls came in as a 29 seed. They'll have to go against the number 19 seed Highland. But great season for the Amherst girls. They end up finishing 4th in the conference. They're now 13-10. Meanwhile, Avon also 13-10. They're going against a tough Ellett team Thursday, but Ellett has lost 2 of their last 3 I was looking up. So good hopes for the girls from both Avon and Amherst. Tonight it's the boys from Avon and Amherst getting it going, and this is as good as advertised. Ziegler from the corner off the front of the iron, no good. Comes off the rebound to Young and back to Yoder, and now coming in the corner for a quick dumper is no good is Draga. Avon trying to make something happen the other way. Chance Miller, he's done that nicely a few times tonight. He's in double figures. Gotta love that when you're Coach Mike Fitch to have a kid averaging not even 5, puts up 10 in a key late season game. Kind of knocked out of bounds. And again, that's one of those plays. If this was any other level of basketball, especially late in the game, they would go to the replay on that because there's no. I mean, Good definitely got a hand on it. Who did it actually touch last? Well, I tell you what, it happens in a flash. But high school referees are expected to get that right, and God forbid anyone in the stands think they didn't get it right. So they got to hear about it. I thought for a second Pat Bray in the corner was winding up to kick that ball down the hallway the way he turned and twisted. I'm like, that would be certainly uncharacteristic. So couldn't see his feet. So thankfully that wasn't the case. But Amherst keeping this alive, down by 4. We're coming up on the 2-minute mark of this fourth quarter. Eli Solak gets the ball, comes in the lane, gets contact, and then Nathan Farley did a great job of knocking the ball loose with his left hand. But Solak kept his focus, kept the ball, and then Farley had no choice but to grab him. So for Farley, it's going to be his second foul, and the third on the Eagles here in the fourth quarter. So they are going to rule that Solak had started his shooting motion. I thought that was the whole point of what Farley was trying to do, was to prevent that from happening, but they rule he was on his way up, so he'll go to the line. His first trip there today, and his first shot is up and no good.
After hitting their first 4 free throws to start the half, they've missed the last 3 in a row.
Yeah, and made 2 out of 3 in the first half, so one thing you got to have, especially when you're down. Free throws important either way, right? You got to get those free points while the clock stops when you're trying to make up a lead, and it's the way to seal things away if you've got the lead. Either way, Solak splits the pair. He now has 5 on the game, and it's a 1-possession contest again, under 2 minutes to go. Now, I've seen a couple of games where Avon would be happy to work the final 2 minutes off the clock. Doesn't look like that's going to happen here, but they're certainly going to. Oh, I'm just going to say they're not in any hurry. Number 3 says, I'm going to put up 3. Chance Miller has 13 off the bench. The senior guard makes it a 6-point lead, 1:34 to go. Driving in the lane, twisting around the defense and putting it up off the glass. Ball knocked loose the other way, and who did it? Back to Amherst. Miller left it on the way out. Solak comes in. Draga goes out. Avon fans not at all happy with the call. And I don't think in transition, I don't know that either official had a great look at it. And Yoder kind of gives an elbow to get some more contact on the baseline as Solak gets the ball. And they are going to call this foul. This is also going to be on Farley, so all of a sudden he has 3.
And it is interesting, probably staying in the game, and not Toniolo or Griffiths or Jab or any of them to better match up with Solak maybe.
Ball's inbounded to Yoder in the corner. On the baseline, Gray puts it up, goes around and in. And then Gray adds to his team-leading point total now with 19. And it's back to a 1-possession game. 57 points on the board for Avon, 57 seconds on the clock. And it's a 2-point lead. Let's keep it right here as we're in the final minute. Let's set the stage for what to expect here, because both teams clicking along at a good pace. We ended the third quarter at a 44-39 count, and both teams are already pretty much right at their season scoring average. The Comets come in averaging 59.5 points a game. Avon, 59 points a game. Looks like the winning score is going to be right about on season average, which is saying a lot, being that we're in game 21.
That's right. And I mean, it's been ebbs and flows. We've had some moments where we've had individual scoring runs by one of the teams, and then a lot of back and forth. I mean, it's just been a very competitive game throughout all this time here, and definitely heading down the barrel for an exciting finish.
Yeah, I'm looking at the scoreboard up there, and I want to make sure my count is right, because I have 19 for Bray, and they only have 18 up there.
I have them at 19 as well,
Yeah.
so we got the...
Well, it's a number of 3-point, right? I mean, hey, once in a while, I know I've been known to write down 3 when it was 2 or vice versa. So, but I totaled up all my points, and I get the same point total for the game. Meanwhile, Tristan Young now has 12. And here we go. Avon with the ball in a 2-point lead. Final minute. This is going to be good, folks. Pull up your little bit on the edge of your chair, because I am here on the top row of the stands at Avon High School. Nolan Good into the front court. Guarded closely. Amherst has got to contest every possession. They need the ball back. This is Ziegler. Back to Good. Has some space. Going to play catch with Ziegler to take some time off. We're down to 33. This is Yoder. And now that to me is the smart way to pick up that foul. You know you want to foul, but why just push on the guy or try to get it? If you're able to jar the ball loose and maybe even not get the call, that's all the difference in the world. You see so many guys just want to come up and kind of bang him on the forearm or something. Smart play by Yoder either way. It's a foul on Amherst, and that ends up being just their second of the quarter, so they got to foul again, and Yoder will get his second. And that's 3. So remember, we don't shoot till 5. So 31.7 seconds. Good news for Amherst. They've pushed the Avon offense well back into the backcourt. Now coming in to knock it loose is Landon Gray. He always has active hands, and Mike Fitch for Avon says take a timeout. So we'll take this break. 2-point game, 30 seconds to go. Watch our sponsors on the screen right now, folks, because they made all this happen on this inaugural season of the Lorain County Sports Network. You know, if it's a blowout, I have plenty of ways to fill the time, but I much prefer this, and I'm sure the audience much prefers this as well. Here's Avon trying to protect a 2-point lead. Full court pressure. This is coming from Amherst, but Eagles break the pressure and get it to Chance Miller, who gets down the right block. He doesn't want that shot, and then he gets banged as he passes out front. They knocked off another 11 seconds off the clock before Amherst fouled, and even then is only the 4th team foul. That one goes against Bray, and that's his 3rd on the game, which is important if it goes to overtime. Here's Nolan Good inbounding from his own baseline in front of the Eagles' nest, the student section. Gets it out to Ziegler. Off balance, but gathers himself to make sure he didn't travel, and Yoder, all of a sudden, he goes from being in no fouls to being in foul trouble with 3, but that is what Amherst wanted to do. Not the guy they wanted to send to the line by any means, but we're going to send Tyson Ziegler to the line, trying to extend this 2-point lead for the Avon Eagles. And it just so happens that Tyson Ziegler's the top free throw shooter for Avon at 79.4%, and he just improved that number as he now has 21. That's just a great night. I mean, he really carried the team in the first half, and then the rest of the team got going in the second half when it got to be a back-and-forth game, and Ziegler stays true to his hot free throw shooting. And now with 17 seconds left, Amherst has to make something happen. Can get a 2-pointer here. They're not forced to get a 3. Bray kicks it out to Yoder. He will try a deep 3 off the back of the iron, no good. Battle for the rebound, and it comes off to a white jersey. That's Zane Austin fighting, and finally gets his arm held as he tries to twist out of there. And with 5.5 seconds left in a 4-point lead, that's pretty much all going to do it for Avon to protect this lead and come away with this win tonight here at Avon High School. Zane Austin going to the line. Stick around. We've got the Peace Lovin' Little Donuts postgame show. We're going to talk to the winning head coach. We're going to name a Hoop Tech player of the game and hopefully get a few minutes with that player. And then, very important, stick around. We're going to talk about a very, very busy schedule of basketball the remainder of this week on both WOBL and WDLW. Austin's first shot up and good. That's a 5-point lead with 5.5 to go. So it's a 2-possession game with 5.5 seconds. It makes it really tough when you're the team down by 5. And Zane Austin going to try to add to his point total for the season. He's got 9 on the night, and see if he can make it double figures. That one's short, comes off the front of the rim. Yoder running back the other way, gets it to Solak, knocked out of his hands. 1.6 to go. Wow, quick hands by Nathan Farley there. Because usually you just kind of leave that guy alone, because the last thing you want to do is have some crazy 4-point play or something, but he knew what he was doing. Final second and a half. Deep 3 by Bray is no good, and that's the way we end here in Avon. It's the Eagles 60, Amherst 55. Eagles move to 9-4 on the season in the conference, 14-7 on the season, with a season where they only had their starting lineup in place on 3 different games. It makes you wonder how dangerous the Eagles can be in the postseason. Meanwhile, Comets just could not get it going in the conference this year. They end up 2-11 with 1 game to go. 9-12 on the season, but the way they've been playing the 3 games before this and the competition they gave to the top RPI team in Lorain County tonight means things could be very, very fun for the Amherst Comets in the postseason as well. We'll talk about all that, get this game wrapped up for you, so stick around. The postgame show starts right after this on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back here in Avon, wrapping up a really exciting game. I mean, it's so much fun when we have games like this. And even though we expect a good matchup in the Southwestern Conference, there's been a few lopsided scores during the course of the season. But both teams gave us everything we needed tonight. And Avon comes out on top with a final score of 60-55. Both teams scored 16 points in the fourth quarter. So it was really that 6-0 run at the end of the third quarter was virtually the difference in this game, as Avon was able to maintain that margin at the end of the game as well, walk away with the win here at home. And nice that the Eagles are playing well at home, because they've got potentially 3 more here on this court. So nice that they're comfortable in this arena. Max Drummond along with me. We're going to name our player of the game. We've got some other awards that we recognize throughout the evening, and we'll get a chance to get to all that in just a minute. First of all, run down the scoring for tonight's game. We'll start with the Amherst Comets. They had quarters of 14, 15, 10, and 16, 55 total for the night, led by the coach's son, senior Landon Bray, 19 points. Great night for him. Max Drummond's going to talk about his shooting night and the stats in just a little bit. Backing him up points-wise was Tristan Young, also in double figures. He ended up with 12. 7 points for Ryan Yoder. Even though he faked us out at the beginning, wearing 21 instead of 0. We adapted to that as okay. 6 points each from Ashton Draga as well as Andrew Balicki. And rounding out the scoring was Eli Solak, the big guy in the middle, ends up with 5 points. For the Avon Eagles, we've talked about this before. They go back and forth with who their leading point guy is, and they've got 3 guys that average virtually all about the same number of points, because it's one of them stepping up from one game to the next. Tonight, it was Tyson Ziegler. He was just all over the court, 13 points at halftime, 10 more in the second half, putting a couple free throws down the stretch to ice things out. 23-point game for the senior guard. 6-foot guy, averages 12.3, so almost doubled his season average. Backing him up in double figures was Chance Miller off the bench. Guy only averages 4.7. Tonight he was all over the court, scores 13. That's the things that make a coach smile, when he can rely on that, because they weren't getting the point production that they normally expect out of some of the other guys. But the W at the end of the day is all that matters. Coming in with Zane Austin, he ended up with 9 points, including a key free throw down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Other scorers for Avon, they had 4 points each from Sam Toniolo, Nathan Farley, and Nolan Good. And the scoring rounded out by the three-pointer in the first half off the bench by Andy Falasco. Makes 60 points for the Avon Eagles. They come away with the win. Like I said, that means they move to 14-7 on the year with 1 game left on the regular season. Here Friday night against their rivals, they'll take on Lake, as they have to call them here. So I'll follow along since I'm in the Eagles realm. And then they start tournament play next week, as they'll be playing on Wednesday night next week right here in this gym against Worcester. And they would have a second home game if they win that one, as they already know their opponent in the second round will be a lower seed, number 45, Twinsburg, will be their opponent. Meanwhile, for Amherst, 2-11 in the conference, 9-12 on the season. I'll tell you what, you can't find another 9-12 team that's not going to put up a bigger fight than they did, seeing that they were 7-1 in the non-conference and then also had a big conference win earlier this month against Illyria. They are going to go home for their senior night on Friday night. They'll host North Ridgeville, and then playoff action starts for them next Wednesday against number 65 Euclid, as the Amherst Comets are the number 52 seed with the new RPI ratings this year. And so you look at that and you say, we know it's a conference game, we know there's rivals out there, but Avon was not only the number 20 seed in the big district, the top RPI score for all of Lorraine County teams, and they did that all season without playing with their basic leader starting lineup. That's amazing.
Yeah, it just speaks to their depth and their preparation. You know, anybody knows they can enter the game at any point. Coach Fitch is not afraid to get guys, younger guys, playing experience. And then on Amherst's side, I think looking at their 2 matchups against Avon is a perfect microcosm to show their progress throughout the season. You know, over a month ago when they played the Eagles, they lost by over 20 points. And tonight they were pushing them right to the very end with a chance to win. So both teams heading into the playoffs very strong.
Yeah, both teams come along very well, and Amherst having to do that, losing nearly 10 points a game from their sophomore Dudziak. So not only making that up, but doing better, like you said, with a much different game tonight than it was earlier in the year. I want to mention again, we didn't get a slam dunk tonight, but I got to mention that slam dunks on our broadcast brought to you by Steve Lawson of Russell Real Estate Services. Selling or buying your next home, consider top-performing realtor Steve Lawson, and we appreciate all the sponsors you've seen on your screen throughout the whole entire evening, throughout the entire season. Please Let them know you appreciate their sponsorship of local sports in Lorain County, and when you can, patronize them as well. We are not done from the WOBL WDLW sports department realm, and we've got a whole week lined up. So I'll try to go kind of in chronological order for you, as the next 3 nights will be on WDLW. Tomorrow, girls basketball, as WDLW returns to Wellington. They were there last Wednesday to watch Keystone finalize their perfect season. Tonight, Wellington, the higher seed, hosting Black River in a sectional semifinal. Then on Thursday, the action continues on WDLW. They'll be over at North Ridgeville. The Ridgeville Rangers girls have already won their first game of the postseason. They now are going to host Rocky River. Both of those are sectional finals. On Friday night, we return back to boys basketball for the final Friday night of the boys season. On WDLW, they'll be this very Amherst team will be hosting North Ridgeville, and that's where WDLW will be on Friday night. Meanwhile, on Friday, oh my gosh, the basketball gods have smiled on us, because we were scheduled all along for a particular game, and we never want to change games on someone. What happened here, that game got changed on us. So after about half a second of this, it was let's go back to Brookside, because the Lorain County League title will be decided at Brookside Friday night, live on WOBL, as Brookside will be hosting the Firelands Falcons. Man, that one's going to be good. Biggest problem we're going to have there tonight on Friday night is how are we going to get in the gym, because it's going to be packed. That you can listen to it wherever on WOBL radio, on AM or FM, on the website, or certainly if you haven't tried the great free app that the radio stations have, it is incredibly reliable and very easy to use. And guess what? Free. So let's come back to this game. This is the Peace, Love, and Little Donuts Feed Your Inner Hippie post-game show. I mentioned we had a couple of Avon sponsors in the area, and one of them is Peace, Love, and Little Donuts. Ironically, Don Collier, coaches for the Amherst team tonight, they did not get the win. The Avon Eagles get the win, and it gives us a chance to talk to one of those Eagles that had a big night tonight. And we're going to bring up to our broadcast booth after we got to find out what this one's about. We got to find out, all right, what's the conversation going on right now? What's so important?
My friend, very clumsy, lost $1. I'm not surprised.
So you're watching out for your friends. I
Yes,
like that.
exactly.
Tyson Ziegler joining us on our post-game show. Congratulations.
Thank
Great
you. I
night.
appreciate it.
So how does that happen in the first half? How do you feel going in the locker room? What's your inner voice telling you about the kind of game you're having when you get off to that hot of a start?
Yeah, I got off to a pretty good first quarter, but it wasn't really showing on the scoreboard. I felt like the game was a little closer than I wanted it to be. Our defense wasn't to a level we normally play at, which I think kind of hurt us tonight in the first half and really throughout the game, but I think we picked it up in the second half.
And I know part of that picking it up was Coach Fitch had some words right along those same lines, right? And then what was the difference down the stretch?
I think veteran leadership and experience. I think down the stretch we got stops when we needed to, made buckets when we needed to. Chance Miller played a really good game tonight and came up clutch for us.
Absolutely did. So Tyson, I like that. The first thing you're coming up here, you're looking out for your friend's money. You're mentioning Chance Miller having a good night off the bench.
Yep.
It's so important, and it tells me the type of teammate and the leadership that you bring to the table tonight. So I'll digress a little bit here. How does that help your younger brother, who had a very nice night tonight as well, right? Max, you talked about his JV game, right?
He was able to score 17, and when we saw you score as many as you did in the first half, we're like, oh, he's on pace to outdo him.
Yeah, so I see him score 17. I know I can't let him score more than me sometimes.
I mentioned
bragging
that
rights at home.
Well, right. Who is the better Ziegler basketball player?
I've never lost him in a 1v1, but I will say I hope he is better than me in the future. I hope he is.
He definitely has a high upside, that's for sure. Let's
go
back to talking about your game tonight. So we talked before the game. No impact on the top of the conference. You know what you're doing in post game. You're trying to focus on what tonight? What did you get out of tonight's game that might help you coming into the postseason?
Any win gets us on a roll, right? So we knew coming in the conference was kind of out of the picture, but as a competitor, you see a team in front of you and you just want to beat them night in and night out.
You have to thank the coach and the athletic director here for getting you guys possibly 4 straight games at the end of the season at home. Nice to play in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, exactly. We had a lot of away games at first, but that means down the stretch we get a lot of home games.
So, of course, what's on your mind from the beginning of the season and especially now, any predictions, any thoughts about Friday night?
I feel like we owe them something, so I'm ready to play them.
Yeah, so things were a little off the last time because of the weather and getting out there, but you guys get a better start this week.
Yeah,
it's gonna
exactly.
be a good game and a good finish to the night, and we hope to be talking to you guys a lot in the postseason as we look for you guys to go along. And we've talked about it on the air. You guys are the top. They use this RPI this year. You guys are the top RPI percentage in the whole county. So did that kind of be part of your expectations at the beginning of the year? Basically, we're going to claim to be the best team in the county.
I mean, yeah, coming in, we knew we had a lot of talent, a lot of guys that work hard, so we thought we were going to be pretty good this year with a lot of leadership, too, with 7 seniors.
Well, this is our first season on the YouTube channel tonight with WOBL, WDL Sports Department. They picked you guys to be the final 2 games of the season, so it was a good selection. You guys gave us 2 great games. You had a great game tonight. Tyson Ziegler with the Avon Eagles with 23 points is our Hoop Tech player of the game. And going to get this great shirt for you to sport around. Did you have one of these from earlier in the year?
I did. I think I have 2 of them.
You already have 2 of them. So he's a primetime player, Coach. When we're on, he's ready to go. Because I know we didn't give you one last week when we were here, but the friends at WDLW took care of you, all right?
I appreciate it.
You get another one. You absolutely earned this one tonight. And our Hoop Tech player of the game, where basketball meets technology. And the great shirt is provided by our friends at Lake Screen Printing, Lorraine County's oldest and largest union label and print company. Tyson Ziegler, thank you, congratulations, and look to see you in the near future in the postseason. Get a chance to bring in Coach Mike Fitch, and Coach, they made you work for this one tonight, I saw.
They battled. Amherst coming in is going to battle too. They ran some really good stuff offensively that we struggled with. It's like our feet were in concrete a little bit. Tried to switch up defense a little bit, change it, but eventually we got the stop, and I think we went the right 5 at the end, and a couple guys stepped up and executed and got a win.
So when you're out there coaching, especially with this team, when you got a guy like Chance Miller coming off the bench tonight really making a big contribution, how hard is it to kind of pick who those 5 need to be on the court at the end? That's a big onus that a lot of people you kind of forget about in the coaching realm.
Yeah, very difficult. If you see, I'll kneel next to my guys and I'll talk to my assistants and kind of see who we think we should go with at the end or who's playing well. We talk about it at halftime, but we constantly talk about it. We know certain guys that we want in the game, and we had the opportunity to take Chance out, and he works his butt off. He's a kid that's basketball only. Honestly, this is not a secret. Chance got cut his freshman year from our program.
So did Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah, right. and Chance just kept pounding and played JV last year for us. And honestly, I'm just so proud of him and what he did and his effort. And it's just awesome to see a guy like that succeed.
But last week we were here talking about Joey Griffiths coming off the bench, and this week Chance Miller. I would think as a coach that really makes you get even more excited about the postseason when you know you can point to a guy on the bench and get some contributions out of that.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's difficult. Some guys aren't happy sometimes, but they've all bought into it. One of my assistant coaches in the locker room talked about the bench and how well they did and how they're always into the game and not being selfish and understanding that. Last time we played these guys, Colton Fitch and Andy Flasco had amazing games. And Andy hit a 3. Colton's a little under the weather, but didn't play much tonight. But the last time we played them, they played almost the entire second half. So that's what it is, and credit to the coaching staff for making those decisions, and we can trust each other on that.
Well, correct me if my math is wrong. You guys are 14-7 in a season where you really only played 3 games with your regular starting 5?
Yep.
So does that help you in the postseason, or are these guys like they still got to get kind of organized together? They're not used to playing with
absolutely. Farley had an off night tonight. He was struggling a little bit. You try to keep him confident, and he got a little upset. But you keep the confidence in him. He's still getting his legs under him. He's still he shot the 2 free throws knocked down, then he missed a 3. But I'm glad he took it because he was still confident in himself. So you just got to keep believing in each other and practice hard. I told him I'm expecting 2 really good practices coming up tomorrow and Thursday because we got a big one Friday that we've been looking forward to for a while.
And you guys certainly dominated the paint tonight. It ended up being a very key metric in the second half there. They weren't able to get a lot in the paint. How do you sustain that in the postseason, especially when you may face teams with more size?
Sam Toniolo didn't do much offensively, had a good putback or 2 good putbacks, but defensively he tore up the defense rebounds. I think Farley did a great job there. That's huge. Protecting the paint is a big thing, keeping guys out of the paint, because in years past guys get in the paint and kick it and they knock down 3s, and we struggle with that. So proud of our dudes for stepping up the end and protecting that paint.
Antoniolo certainly showed out. He also had 2 blocks himself. Just definitely a force down low.
Yep, for sure.
Going back, I will say at halftime you were the first one off the court. I know
Yep.
you weren't happy with the way things ended.
Nope.
So what was the focus at your halftime speech to them?
Well, we go in the coach's office, and I let some feelings flow. And Jim Wallace, my assistant, did a really good job saying, yes, we know, Mike, we all feel that way. But what are we going to do? And he calmed me down, and we had really good discussions. Our captains, our 4 captains, when we go in the locker room, they have stuff on the board, something they took over this year. They put what we're doing well, what we're doing bad. And they knocked it to a T. I really didn't have to say much. I said, you guys know it. You know what we need to do in the second half. They knew exactly what we need to do, and they executed. And I'm proud of them for knowing it, and I didn't really say much. Just reiterated what they already knew.
And one of those guys, of course, is the gentleman we were just talking to. I made a comment about how he is kind of looking out and mentioning his teammates. So any words about Tyson Ziegler and what he means to the program as a whole?
One of the greatest kids I've ever coached. I think his face and what he does is Avon basketball and what we want. He works every play, doesn't take possession off. In practice, he's diving on the floor, taking charges. I don't know, he's an amazing kid to coach. He's a great leader. Kids follow him. He's really going to be missed next year. So I texted him the other night that I'm going to take these days for granted. I'm not going to take him for granted because he's a really special kid.
Well, and then parents were nice enough to give you another one on the way up already, right? I mean, he's been a freshman making an impact in a big way already.
Yep,
this
absolutely.
Season. So and I know Friday night's important and you got to get one game at a time, but a quick synopsis of how you approach the postseason, and your first game, of course, is going to be against Worcester.
Yeah, obviously we're not looking past Friday, but we're going to watch film. We're going to come up with a game plan. They have a really good scorer that we need to stop. They were here tonight watching us, so they kind of know us a little bit better. But it's just that focus. We're keeping certain guys. The gym's quieter because there's no JV team. That's a change. But hard practices, get shots up, and really have a good game plan.
Well, Coach, we hope to be covering a lot of those with our WOBL, WDLW team. And, again, you guys gave us 2 great weeks to finish out our first season here on the Lorain County Sports Network, so appreciate everything you do here for Avon and for local sports, and good luck in the postseason.
Thanks for coming out. I mean, it was awesome. You said you're coming back, and we're looking forward to it. See, you have a hat here for me.
You're
No,
right.
I'm kidding.
We're ready to go.
No, I appreciate it. It's awesome when you guys came out. I'm telling you, I watched that film. I watched this over ours. It was awesome. You guys did a great job. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate you saying that. And, again, look forward to having you on probably on WDLW as the postseason evolves here tonight. Congratulations. All right, thanks, Coach. All right, I don't want to go away, but eventually they're going to turn the lights out and kick me out, and the Avon police will be dragging me out the door. So let's get to the rest of our postgame show. As I was talking before we talked to Tyson Ziegler about what's coming up next, and I want to mention that on Saturday we're going to be on with girls games, and it's yet to be decided because we're either going to be at Elyria Catholic or we'll be at Orange or Akron Springfield. So the way it works, Elyria Catholic has to play Clearview tomorrow, and we're going to follow whichever that team wins there. So if Elyria Catholic wins, they host, and if Clearview wins, they have to go on the road, and the opponent will be the winner of the Orange versus Akron Springfield game, which will be tomorrow. So that's a big, big week of basketball still to come. That game on Saturday will be at 1 o'clock, so make sure you're listening in for that, and very excited about what the postseason holds for us. And follow us on social media, and definitely like and subscribe right here on the YouTube channel, because our next scheduled broadcast here on YouTube is Friday, August 23rd. That seems way too long away, but the reality is we'll be back for football season next year, but stay tuned because there will be some live events on between now and then. Baseball, softball season, everything coming up in just a few weeks, and we're looking at keeping you enthused about even more coverage and more equipment and more people behind everything that we're doing next year. So won't be premature on what we're doing on that, and the schedule will come out probably sometime in late May. But August 23rd, we're definitely going to be back for year 2 of the Lorain County Sports Network. Going back tonight to what happened in this game, we always announce a shooting star of the game. Comes pretty much off the stat sheet. And Max, you alluded to this earlier. It's brought to you by United States Air Force. Aim high. Visit Staff Sergeant McCraven in Avon. By the way, another one of our Avon sponsors. Or you can go to airforce.com to get started. Shooting star tonight, sir.
It's got to be Landon Bray. I mean, the guy started 5 of 5 from 3. He didn't miss a shot. He was perfect to start the game, and certainly 62% from 3 is not shabby whatsoever. Wow. So in a losing effort, a very strong performance from Bray, the coach's son.
Yeah, it's one thing to have 19 points. It's another thing to do it on a very judicious amount of shots. and Landon really had a great night and a very good night of leading the team. And you mentioned a couple times inbounds off the baseline of how he finds guys. Just great game by Landon Bray, but our shooting star of the night. Let's check out some other stats here tonight. There's stats in the postgame show brought to you by Alan Januzzi CPA, because it's all about the numbers. So we gave the numbers that ended up with the points, but what happened with the rest of tonight's?
Well, after a strong first half of rebounding by Amherst, they had 9. They only finished the game with around 12 total, so 18 rebounds in favor of Avon. So they really picked it up in the second half. Guys like Toniolo, Coach Fitch talked to them. And
definitely. 4
total team blocks for Avon. They had the paint on lockdown, and then also the just pretty efficient shooting by both teams, as the Amherst Comets were 21 of 43 from the field and 24 of 40 for Avon. So pretty efficient nights shooting as well.
Well, and that also goes to why you don't have the high rebounding totals, right? Because both teams were pretty efficient at their shooting, even though they were both going against some pretty rugged defense on both sides of the ball. So talked about our rebound report in there, too. That's always brought to you by Romeo's Pizza, locally owned and operated in both LaGrange and Lorain. Appreciate if you patronize all of our sponsors where you can, including Lorain County Visitors Bureau. We can't wait to see you. Lorain County Visitors Bureau, bicentennial stuff going on with that too. And finally, let's talk a little bit about Mr. Basketball Watch, because on the girls' side, we're going to be seeing them this week, because Elyria Catholic's the favorite tomorrow, and if they win tomorrow, we'll have Isabel Niederst on Saturday. She's definitely a high candidate on this basketball side. And tomorrow, it's in North Ridgeville. Grace Kingery has been just lights out. I had the pleasure of working the game that she scored her school record 45, and she's been in the 30s since then. What about Mr. Basketball Watch tonight? Anybody tonight on this court that stands out to you, Max?
I mean, it's tough. It feels like this boys' race is going to come down until the literal last night, but tonight, obviously, we talked a little bit about Landon Bray already, Tyson Ziegler, and can't forget about a guy like Zane Austin. Didn't have his best night tonight, but he's still one of the best scorers in this county, so just a couple names there that are definitely going to be in the running here at the end.
Yeah, and even Nathan Farley, if he wouldn't have missed so much of the season, and people didn't get to see him as much, he definitely. I don't know how you're going to decide on Mr. Basketball Watch, but we're watching it. And WOBL, WDLW Sports Department, a sponsor of that award, and the Mr. Basketball Watch tonight brought to you by Nick Abraham, Elyria Ford. Shop ElyriaFord.com. But overall, Mr. Basketball Watch, any favorites that you have after as the season comes to wind down?
Man, I mean, it's certainly going to be a tough one to try to figure out. A lot of talented juniors that are stepping up, but I don't know. You can't forget about guys like in the LC8 as well. Brandon Sharp is a good one.
He had a nice night Friday night. We're going to have him again Friday night on WOBL, absolutely. And Griffin Teray, North Ridgeville, he missed a lot of his season, unfortunately, but he was certainly one of the favorites in the beginning of the season with North Ridgeville. He'll be on WDLW on Friday night as well. So very exciting, and it's a great part of the commitment of WOBL, WDLW Sports Department with Gary and Renee Tollett, the owners, not only getting involved for several years now with the Mr. and Miss Basketball Awards, not just in basketball, but in the other sports as well, and then now creating this Lorain County Sports Network to have even more coverage of high school sports across Lorain County. And it was a privilege for me to be a part of this inaugural season here. Appreciate putting up with any growth. We had some growth spurts, but we had some bumps in the road, and we got through it all, and we learned a lot, and we're going to expand and improve our coverage next year for sure. So appreciate not only everyone on our sponsor list that we show you on the screen and talk about, but for watching our games tonight. And had a great gentleman on Friday night at Brookside come up, and we're on the air. We're trying to get the pregame going, and he's sitting there very patiently. We finally get to commercial, and he goes, just wants to say, I live in Toledo. My grandson played for Black River, and he had come to see the game, but he had watched and listened to games either through the radio station app or on Lorain County Sports Network, and was nice enough to come up and share that. But the biggest thanks you can give us is, like I said, is letting our sponsors know that you appreciate their patronage and their sponsorship of this. And anytime you have a chance to spend money in Lorain County, hopefully you'll choose one or more of these businesses to do it with, and that keeps us coming back year after year. This is Max Drummond. Appreciate everything you do. Remind people that you're part of the daily things that go on in the radio station.
Yeah, that's right. In addition to having fun on weeknights and weekends with the sports, I'm also the news guy, as monikered by Gary Tollett, the owner, and also host a morning show on WOBL. So,
but you can listen to you on both stations in the morning, right? You're on WOBL and WDLW both.
For news updates, that's right.
Each and every morning. Yep. Appreciate that. We talked to Edwin Vereen at halftime. our producer, director, technical guy, getting everything here going. Appreciate everything you've done this season. And behind the camera, we saw you a little bit ago, right? We got a chance to talk to Michael Allison earlier, and we appreciate all the work you've done. And the video aspect of this is something that's new to radio people, right? You know, so we're getting the hang of that, and we're going to build on that for next year. We learned a lot of everything that's going on, and just very excited about continuing on to year 2 of the Lorain County Sports Network. So here in Avon, we're wrapping things up. You got the score on the screen. Final score, Avon 60 and Amherst 55. Make sure you join us all the rest of the week. WDLW the next 3 nights, and then we also have WOBL Friday night and on the weekend. And it's going to be a great postseason across Lorain County, and you'll follow it all if you just keep it on WOBL and WDLW. For the final time of this 2023-2024 season, have a great night, everybody.